boy, are you guys in for a treat. Is it wow-worthy? I don't know. Should it be helpful? At least one little nugget of it, maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen. We'll see how things go here. But what I like to show you guys is just handy tips. Tips using Windows. In this case, I don't speak for Microsoft or whatnot, but I use a lot of their products. And there's a lot of little things and some kind of big things that could speed up your guys' world as you're interacting with technology, except for Byron, because this is a computer. Not joking. So one thing that's neat about Windows 8, and Windows 10 is just around the corner, by the way. Tomorrow they're going to be addressing all these new things, is that there's the option to have a visual password, where if you have a touch screen, it's really great where you can like circle hats and wave the flag and then it opens your thing or whatever. That's not my password, and I'm not going to show you what my password is, but just so you know, it's a possibility, yeah. Okay, so one of the most handy things, a lot of people when they see Windows 8, and just so you know what Windows 8, this sort of deal. A lot of people, it's kind of daunting and like there's tiles, it's not making sense to me, where's that awesome little thing that comes up and you just find programs or whatever. Here's a cool thing. Let's say you want to use Word or something. Well, there's a little Windows button on your keyboard. Looks like a little Windows button. And when you touch that, if you want to use Word, all you have to do is type W-O-R and then what? Word? Okay. You see that on the side. Things just start coming up. Or like, let's say, Excel. Excel. There it is. Excel's over there. PowerPoint, whatever you might have, things are going to appear on the right side just kind of automatically. You just kind of hit the enter button and then all of a sudden you're launching into your stuff. And so that's kind of cool. And that way you don't even have to worry about little pins or shortcuts or something. Just hit that Windows button and just start typing Outlook or Internet Explorer or something like that. So that's kind of cool, right? Let me close down words and stuff. What's that? Exactly. Oh yeah, there's power in that Windows button. But then, especially if you're using a touch screen, it is kind of neat to have these things where you can just touch the whatevers. This isn't a touch screen, if this were here, it'd be a lot more dynamic. Yeah, so then it's broken. So, oh my gosh. And here's, this is pretty cool. In fact, we're gonna go over to this screen for a second. One thing, you know what? I actually have I have an outline. Let me just stick to it. Okay, so, that's right. One of these things. Okay, let's check out OneNote. Let's say you have a problem keeping things in order of what you're going to be presenting on. Why not just put it in OneNote here? Oh my gosh, I did. So let's take a look. Okay, the all-powerful Windows button. Okay, let's check that one off. Using it to launch software, sure. Where to find it? Ooh, that could be a good question. If it's not on your keyboard, which it's on your keyboard, trust me with that. One thing you can do if you're in this sort of a view, without getting too technical, it's either going to be in the corner or it's not, depending on what version of Windows you're using. If it's not, there's this special zone on this side and this side of the screen when you're working in Windows 8. If you go to the left side here, you get this little thing that comes up. Oh, hang on. If we go over here, well, down here, that's not very cool. This little button appears if you're in the bottom right-hand corner. That's the thing I'm trying to tell you, but it's already there, so it's kind of hard to show you it not being there and it being there. So that was anticlimactic. All right, so back to where we were. Talking about Windows, there's kind of the PC side and then the tablet-y side. And again, that's kind of confusing for some people. One thing here, this is kind of like the tablet-y version. It's the, I'll just call it that. That's not what people call it in real life. One thing that's neat about it, though, is you can, if you bring your mouse to the top, you can kind of click and drag, and then you can just kind of slide it over. See this thing happening here? What? Yeah. So this is, let's say if I let it go here, bam. Oh, that's kind of weird. And now, like, let's say I have this over here. Now all of a sudden, no matter what I do on this side, if I'm using Internet Explorer or whatever, now this is always at the side here. So I can do whatever my work is and just kind of look at that over there. Well, that's kind of neat, sure. Why isn't that? Yeah, that's neat. Or let's say if I'm looking at, oh, I don't know, this thing over here, I can drop this to this side and then have things over there, things over there. I can make a full side screen of sorts. And then what's also cool is that now they have multiple themes open at the same time. If I drag up into this left corner, hang on here. Well, it just shows this one other thing which is running, so I can jump in between these 3 different themes here. Oh, look at those penguins. We'll get to them in a second. Aren't they adorable? So another neat thing is that when you have multiple themes running, if you, yeah, see, that's that panel I was talking about. I'm going to do it over here. Again, bouncing back and forth between touchscreen versus not touchscreen. You can do this thing where you flick the different programs that you're working on. So that's cool. That's like a parlor trick, right? Look at us. We're getting productive here. And also, yeah, when you are doing things with fingers, then you can swap what's in this other side here. I guess I only have these 2 themes over there. But so I think that's pretty neat and can be pretty handy. And the thing you need to know too is that when you are kind of, here, why don't you put the calendar over there? Mouse, I want to put my mouse back over in this side. Mouse, where are you? Well, I'm over here now. This part's cool. My mouse doesn't want to go over to the other screen. I don't understand. I'm showing you how easy it is to use this. Okay. Yeah. Why are we so confused here? Okay, so I'm going to bring this guy up again.
What's OneNote?
Oh, that's a good question. OneNote. Why am I using that? So OneNote, it's your one place for notes. And pretty much all offices have OneNote in some form or another. One thing that's really cool about it is, and it's more impressive if I show you, at least I think so, over here. Because while it's over here, yeah, it has this whole, I can write all on here and text and stuff. And it can read your text, which is neat. But then also, if you kind of push this little button here, look at this little screen that comes up. I don't know how easy you can see that, but you can insert drawings, you can insert little tags, and you can do different things with different colors and pictures and add pictures directly from the camera and whatever. It's just this neat radial menu to do stuff. And here I ended up wanting to do checklist stuff. And the neat thing about being OneNote is not only is it online, which I'll show you in a bit, but on my phone, as soon as I break that out, it's updated on my phone too. So again, this one place for all of your notes sort of a thing going on. So, so that's what OneNote is. Evernote is something that I think a lot of iPhone users use. I'm sure you all have your own little notepads and stuff, but this is like just a neat, robust sort of a thing for doing notes. And then if you click here, it shows all the recent notes, and you can just switch back and forth between those really easily, or you can go to new notes and whatever. Search your notes on the side here and stuff, but now I'm just kind of going too fast. So, good question. Let's carry on. So now that we're over here again, and I'm going to do something here. I think I want this screen to show exactly what's in this screen. That way I'm not kind of going back and forth between stuff. So let me just find this plug. You guys think about what questions you might have as far as what Windows things. Oh, you know what I'm going to do here? This is great. So like, let's say I want to project this screen on this screen so that it matches up the same thing. Here's that handy thing where I talked about if you hit Windows and then you start typing what screen, and then here's some options are coming up there. One of these, lock screen display, change screen brightness, on-screen keyboard, project to second screen. I'm clicking that. Here, I can either PC screen only, duplicate, bam. That's what I wanted to do. Now both of these screens are matching up. And so again, I didn't really know where that menu thing was. I just knew it's something to do with the screen. Type screen. There we found it. Okay, I think this is going to be easy to work with now. So bringing this note back up, sticking it to the side again, bringing it over. So minimizing and maximizing. I showed you with these windows here, where if you have different things going, you can either, with a mouse or drag with your finger and just pull it down, drop it, it's gone. That closes the actual program there. When you're working in kind of more the traditional Windows thing, this is kind of huge. So here we have this screen going on here. let's say we have a folder here that we're doing stuff with. If you always kind of find yourself like trying to click around and go to different things and make things bigger and stuff like that, stop wasting your time. There's the Windows button. And what you can do is if you hold the Windows button and then if you hit up, bam, it's maximizing the window there. If Windows button right, snaps it to the right. Windows button left, it snaps to the left. And so when you're doing stuff, you can click on one, Windows left that, and then Windows right that, or move that. Oh, this is fun too. If you have a whole bunch of windows all clustered, like let's say, why do we have so many windows here? All I want to see is this adorable penguin. You can take it and shake it. All the other screens go away. Wow. You didn't know about that, did you? Yeah. No, and let's say, just to prove that that's not only a touchscreen thing, let's get some of this Node CVS garbage off of the screen. Click it and flick it. I don't know, it still works. Yeah. Years of just poking around. Sometimes I'd see little tips come my way. Other times I just kind of notice it as you're doing stuff. Whoa, isn't there? Yes, there is. So that's another thing. Let's say you have a whole bunch of stuff. So Alt-Tab. I'm kind of jumping around on my thing here now, but Alt-Tab, look at all, I have all those different things going. As I keep holding down Alt, Tab, 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 goes through all these different things I have open. Brink, yep, Alt, 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 Tab. And so that's a good way. And then the nice thing, if you're, let's say you're here, but then you're over here, if you just Alt-Tab, it takes you back to the last thing that you were at. So you can keep going back and forth between your Word document and your awesome pictures that you're dictating about in your Word document. So Alt-Tab, Alt-Tab, that's super handy. There used to be this really awesome thing in Windows 7, Windows Tab, and it gave you this 3D like swoosh, 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 swoosh thing. I missed that. But it was unnecessary resources. Another thing, let's say you want to maximize this. You can also just click drag to the top, and it makes it big automatically. So that's kind of handy. Just like, hey, okay, we're big. Or, and there's lots of ways to skin a cat. Do not skin cats. It's overrated. They don't deserve it. They could be jerks sometimes, but still, leave them alone. Leave them furred. But if you want to make this tall, here's a way you can do it, is if you take this bottom and then you drag down, you see like something happens there. See this kind of outline? Here, I'll make it kind of more obvious. If I'm like down here, let's minimize that. As I drag down, boom, 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 boom. See that little silhouette? Boom, 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 boom. That tells you that something's happening. If you let go, it makes it fit to the screen all the way to the top. And so that's kind of an easy way to have multiple things where if you have like 4 or 5 all going on, you can just kind of snap to the bottom and then it'll snap to the top. So, okay, that's interesting, Jason. Yeah, it could be. But it could be really handy when you're throwing things side by side. And if you have 2 screens, same thing where you can snap, 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 snap by just Windows right, 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 left, 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 left and stuff. So that's rocking. We're making progress here. All right, so let's go back to my checklist here. Let's minimize and maximize. And yeah, switching in between. Thank you for that Alt-Tab tip. Using panels and windows. Okay, oh, I like the title of this one. Shift and Control to control your world. Oh, what can that mean, Jason? Well, let's talk about selecting files. Okay. If you're looking through pictures, yeah, let's make this a picture case. So go into, let's go ahead to these pictures here. If you want to send several pictures in an email, and in fact, let's even kind of simulate such things. So I did Control N, and that made a new window. I know that was a tricky one there. If you're in a window, I can get so deep in the weeds here, but Control N is another handy thing. It's another way of saying like new. I want something new. If I'm in this folder and I want to look at something inside this folder, but I don't want to lose my place for this folder too, let's say, okay, I know there's a pictures here. I have 10 minutes left. This is great. I'm on track. All right. Then if you hold down Control and N, all of a sudden, poof, you get a new instance of that window. And so now don't be confused. If I delete something from here, it deletes it from here too, because it's just a new view of the same thing. But now I can go over here and look in, New Orleans pictures or something like that. Well, over here, this is still here. So that's kind of handy. And same thing if you're in Outlook and you want to do new email, Control N, all of a sudden, bam, you have a new email starting up. When you want to send pictures to someone, let's say you want to send like 2 or 3 pictures. Couple ways you can do that. One, I can just drag a box around these 3 or 4 pictures or these 8 or whatever and just kind of drag them in there. And then it's going to attach them on the side there. Another thing that you can do, it's kind of taking some time to think about it apparently, is if you want to select though, instead of a whole row, if you want to select like this, not this, and this, and this, one thing you can do, by the way, let me kind of zoom these up here, is as you mouse over, see these little checkboxes? That's one thing you can do, is you can kind of find the checkbox and kind of select them. It gets a little awkward though, because if you click outside the checkbox, then it just completely selects a new thing. But if you hold down the Control button, and this works in Excel sheets too, I'll show you that pretty soon here. If you hold down Control, everything that you click stays selected. Oh, hey, thank you, guys. It keeps things under control. That's exactly right. Thank you. And I'm not exhausted, though it wouldn't apply to me the same way as it would to others. So Control helps you control your file selection. Now, if you want to do something kind of, let's say you wanted this all the way through this guy down here, you could Control click, 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 click. But that's kind of stupid when you can use the Shift button. Ooh, let's shift this into high gear. That's for you car folk. Car folk, well, you're all car folk to some degree probably. If you click on one thing and then hold down Shift and then click elsewhere, it's going to select all the ones between the first thing you clicked and the last thing you clicked. So that can be pretty handy too. In fact, like let's say if we were looking at Excel here, bam, and let's say we have like what's a good thing? This set of data here. If I want to select multiple cells, see, I can do Control and select them. Let's say I want all those to be yellow. Great, they're all yellow. But if I hold down Shift, anywhere I click, it's going to select all those guys. So that's Control with this versus Shift with everything. So Control and Shift, that's great for selecting. Oh, for zooming, you're going to like this one. Let's say you're not this thing. Let's say you're in Internet Explorer and you're looking at a story on Nintendo or something like that. If you hold down Control minus, it makes things smaller. Control plus, we're getting larger. Same thing if you're looking at your files here. Actually, that's not true. If you're in Word, that is true, or some other things in life. But as you go through, every once in a while, just try Control minus, Control plus if you need to make something a little easier to read, and it might help you out. Do you like that? Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. 5 minutes? Wow, okay, this is going great. Okay, so that's for zooming. I already talked about for moving around. Oh my gosh. Let's say you make a big mistake. You didn't want those yellow. Control Z. That makes things undo. You can Control Z all you want in life, and if you mess up something, yes? That is so true. Control Y. Except for Photoshop. Control Shift Z, Control Shift Y, because it steps forward and backwards. It's kind of weird. So yeah, Control Z, Control Y will redo and undo whatever you've done in life. Well, at least on the computer. Yeah, not really. Okay, so, gosh, one thing everyone should know about is the Snipping Tool. If you hit the Windows button, type SNIP, and this thing comes up, Snipping Tool. What's the Snipping Tool? Oh, look at those people. It's where you can select, drag, get a picture of something, and then paste it in, let's say, an email. And what I usually do, because this is great too, let's say you find the Snipping Tool here somewhere. By the way, all of your apps are down, which is kind of neat. You can put the Snipping Tool by actually, let me do it this other way. Snip. I think if you hold down, okay, there you go. If you right click the snipping tool here. You can pin it to start, or you can, bless you, or pin it to your taskbar, and that'll put it right here. So whenever I click on this, all of a sudden my tipping thing happens here. So I'm so often doing that, and I'm also like circling things and saying this is great, and then I paste that and stuff. So Snipping Tool, it's in there somewhere. Hit Windows, help you find it. And what else is worth seeing here? Okay, one last thing. I'm gonna talk about Bing for like the 2 minutes I have. I have a minute left. What do I have? 3 minutes? Okay. So I know there's the Google versus Bing thing. Do whatever you want. I'll tell you why I use Bing, at least. One thing, it's pretty adorable. Look at those guys. My goodness. Each day in Bing, there's a new wallpaper like this, where like yesterday, it was Martin Luther King base. The other day, it was this beautiful photo there of this boat somewhere. So every day you're greeted with something generally pretty darn gorgeous, right? Look at the frogs and the things. And what you can do is if you click on this, that tells you Yosemite National Park. You can download it as a picture, and you can have it as your wallpaper, whatever. But then as you mouse around, there are these little tidbits. Like the Swift River is popular rafting, it's a little Tavoe. What is that about? Okay, show it isn't this national park. Okay, well, let me click that. And then all of a sudden it shows you videos of that park. And so each day there's something new to kind of explore. You might learn about certain holidays and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Bunch of were there squirrels in there? Exactly, yeah, if you want to be distracted. Yeah, if you don't want to be productive, Bing is for you. But another neat thing across the bottom, news stories go across there. Here's Ctrl, which is really helpful. If you hold down Ctrl and click on links in the internet browser, what ends up happening is it opens it new tabs so you can explore them all without leaving what you're doing. So Ctrl and clicking opens a new tab. And then the last thing, if you register for free, see these points there, 6,050? Every time you do a search in everyday life, you rack up points. And then I can cash in those points for like Starbucks cards and Amazon cards, where I probably have, I don't know, maybe like $150 worth of $10 off the store thing, $100 JetBlue points and things like that, just by your everyday searching. And every once in a while I will use Google for like finding some random logo from a business that hasn't been around long enough, even though Bing's getting, what's that? Yeah, that's right. So at least, yeah, give Bing a shot. Sign up for that thing, because again, just every month it's like $5 to $10 free for stuff, and it adds up. So that's pretty cool. So if you have any other questions for what I talked about, okay, you have a question, and then we'll, yeah. Oh, you can probably type in like, yeah, hearts, and then there's some games that'll show up. So just Windows, and then type in a game, and then it'll show up there, or it'll show you apps you can download and stuff from that screen too. So yeah, that is it then for this. But there's so much more. So maybe next time we'll talk about other stuff. But thank you for hearing me out, letting me kind of ramble about buttons. All right.